What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. Feeling extra spicy today, I hope you are too. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And let's just crack straight on with today's stories. You cheeky so-and-sos. Sorry, I hit the mic there. Much love, guys. The first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for calling my sister's husband useless? My 17 female sister, 34 female, called me saying that her work had an emergency and she needs to get there ASAP and needed me to watch her kids because no one else can. I rushed over there just to find her husband locked in his game room playing video games. I asked her why she called me over if he was home, and she said he didn't want to babysit because it was his only day off. Should we give our judgment now, guys? Sister left and I started hanging with the kids. I was changing the baby's diaper and the other kids wanted a snack. I told them to go and ask their dad to make them a snack since the baby had a blowout and it was going to take me a while to clean him up. Well, their dad sent them back upstairs and told them to ask me again. After cleaning the baby up, I made the kids a snack and their dad came out to eat and told me to not let the kids interrupt him on his day off. By the way, he works part-time from home, 6 days a week. I kinda snapped at him and told him it was my day off too, and that he's a useless fucking father and husband if his wife has to rely on a teenage sister rather than her own husband. He started telling me I was disrespectful and didn't understand how hard parenting is. And I told him he clearly doesn't understand how hard it is either, since he considers parenting his own children babysitting. He ended up kicking me out, and apparently my sister was forced to come home because he told her she needed to figure it out since I'm her sister. I feel like I may be the arsehole because my sister is mad at me, her husband is mad at me, my mum is mad at me for causing drama, but my dad thinks it's funny and agrees with me. I definitely didn't need to call him names, but I just hate this guy so much. We've argued about things in the past as well, so we already don't have a great relationship. My sister is saying I need to apologize to him, and he is threatening to never let me into the kids' lives if I keep disrespecting him. Now we knew all we needed to know from the line. I asked her why she called me over, if he was home, and she said he didn't want to babysit because it was his only day off. We knew just from there that you was never going to be the arsehole in this situation. And the whole situation just seems so bizarre to me. Maybe I'm in the wrong here, I don't know, but I feel like this is a totally weird situation that sister is calling her sister to come around and look after their children while the husband is playing games. What the hell? I do worry for the sister in some circumstances. Maybe there's more going on to this, but I'm not going to go down that road just in case I am totally wrong in thinking it. But it just seems like that behavior is totally not normal. Well, we'll start with Fox Unicar Kilo, who says, hold up, your sister had to leave work because her husband kicked you out, even though he's literally right there for the kids. Her husband is utterly useless and she needs a reality check. Me personally, if I showed up just to find out the husband was there but didn't want to babysit his kids, I would have turned right back around. That's not an emergency, that's enabling. And she stabbed me saying, your sister sucks too, OP. Number 1, she decided to burden you with unnecessary babysitting duties. 2, she didn't stand up for you when you did her family a favor. You snapped only after a partner rudely barked orders at you. You were completely right in what you said and he kicked you out. People might make the case that she's being abused, but it honestly sounds like she's just crappy. If she was at all sorry for how you were treated and wasn't trying to use her children as a bargaining chip, I might feel differently. Stick with your dad on this one, not the arsehole. And Status Pattern says not the arsehole. They want you back in their lives when they need free babysitting again. I wouldn't apologize, it only reinforces the belief that he did nothing wrong and is able to get away with being an absent father. Why your sister puts up with this is beyond me. Don't give her a reason to believe what she is tolerating is normal, as who knows what he says at home. And Euphoric Gal says not the arsehole, your sister should be mad at her husband for literally not taking care of his own kids. He was already in the house, but she called you instead. Make it make sense. And we're finished with Alert Potato, who says not the arsehole. Your dad is the only person besides you who has his head on straight. Your sister was not forced to come home from work. She made a choice to come back from work because her husband is too useless to parent his own children. I'd also advise that next time she needs an emergency babysitter that you decline. Now, We know where this one is going to go, surely, but let me know your thoughts on what you might think was going on here in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story is from Unhappy Confection 69. Am I the arsehole for not including my brother's wife with my friend group? To cut a long story short, my brother married a woman I knew from school. She was known as the mean girl, treated everyone like that. Her mum had the same reputation, and everyone said it was learned behaviour that started because their family was wealthy. She made junior and senior year of high school a nightmare for me and most of my friends with her attitude, not helped by teachers letting her get away with it. I didn't see her for years, and my brother met her in a coffee shop. They hit it off, and it was a surprise when she turned out to be his girlfriend. It was also awkward. I don't like her. She's changed some, but still has a streak of it in her. Better than she was. They got married last year, and it hit my brother that she has no friends of her own. She had her family there. Her mum is still the biggest arsehole ever, but no friends. And so he asked me if I would include her with my friends. He knows I have a solid group of friends and was hoping they would be her friends too. But none of my friends are on board, and honestly, neither am I. So I told him no. There was fallout from this. My brother is pissed, and we haven't had a great relationship in months. He thinks it's cruel to not try when I know she has no friends, that it's childish to dislike her over something over the past, and that my friends are a group of assholes for not being willing to try. I told him not everyone wants to be friends with the mean girl who made life hell at any point in their life. That sometimes civil is the best you can muster, and that I have always been that. It's breaking our parents' hearts because he's insisting we can't be close again unless I make more of an effort. Am I the arsehole? Now let's face it, there's a reason why she has no friends now. It's because of the way she was in the past. And I'm trying to put myself in OP's position, someone who's been bullied in the past, and trying to put myself in the position where someone came up to me and said, oh, could you be friends with your old high school bully? And there's absolutely no way whatsoever. And OP's kind enough to be actually civil to that person. You wouldn't get that from me to my bully anymore. And I know some people might say, oh, you need sort of therapy for that. But no, I'm not going for therapy for it. And I just wouldn't be civil to that person either. No chance. So it may be a biased, not the arsehole from me. And let's go to the comments to see what they say. With Elaine Jazz saying, not the arsehole. Homie, your brother sounds like he's being her dad. Setting up friendships with a siblings friend group after marriage. Weird. Why not his friends? And Scrap Queen says, not the arsehole. There's a reason she has no friends. Your brother married the school bully and wonders why no one wants her around. She's your sister-in-law now, and you have to include her in family events. But with your friends, no. Has your brother told his wife to try, to apologize? Why is it the bullied ones are supposed to try harder than the bully? And CMM 2007 says, not the arsehole. There is a reason she doesn't have friends. She must not have changed that much after all. She is a grown woman, she can make her own friends, providing she can rein in her meanness enough. Your brother has zero right to ask you that, zero reason to be upset because you don't want to. And Brooklyn Peter says, and quotes, he's insisting we can't be close again unless I make more of an effort, and then says, this is entirely a problem that he is creating. Not the arsehole. Followed by Toxic Waste, who says, not the arsehole. Doesn't your brother have his own friends? He can make her friends. And Cricket says, not the arsehole, she's a big girl. Let her make her own friends. And we'll finish up with Dr. Sparkle, who says, not the arsehole. If she had really changed, she wouldn't need her husband to force people to be her friend. And at least have tried to apologise and make amends when your brother and her got serious. While it's reasonable that he wants you and her to be civil at family events, he has absolutely no right to demand that you be friends, let alone demand your friends get on board. Now, what would you do if you put yourself in OP's shoes? How would you feel in that situation? You know, someone brought your old high school bully and they wanted you to be friends with them. How would you feel? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Leafy Tea Lemons. Am I the arsehole for literally ignoring my mother when she popped by unannounced? My wife, 30 female, and I, 32 female, we're both women, are new parents to a baby girl. This is pretty big since it's just a few months ago we had our hearts broken. If anyone remembers my last post, it was taken down. We didn't pursue it further because it was just too much. Saying as we never thought that we'd have a baby so quickly, though we are 150% over the moon, we've also had a lot to learn as new parents. My wife's parents are perfect and amazing. They always help out, even if they only pop over for an hour. My mum, on the other hand, has a lot to say and butts in constantly. Pouts when we ask for the baby back, talks like a baby. Mummy wants to take you away from grandma, but I won't let her. Princess demands that grandma changes her into a pretty outfit. Mummy puts me in a boring one. I have no more patience for mum steamrolling, especially since she's barely acknowledged my nephews since the baby came home. She even objects to her name and insists that we change it or call her by a nickname she deems acceptable. My mum's behaviour is nothing new to me, so I told her several times not to drop in without calling. If she's 5 minutes away or 30, it doesn't matter. I don't want guests dropping in to sit in my messy living room to play with the baby while ignoring my wife and I. That doesn't fly with me. On Sunday, we were going to my in-laws' house for brunch and time to relax. I told my mum 3 times when we spoke on the phone during the week that we weren't taking visitors this weekend and had plans. Wife and I were getting ready to leave. She was with the baby when I brought the diaper bag and stuff to the car. Who pulled up when my wife came out? My mum. I was already frustrated, so I went right up to my wife, told her to pretend that she's not here and don't even look at her. Mum starts talking at me. Where are we going and why and how long will it be? And I walked past her. Wife put the baby in the car seat. My mum said she was doing it wrong. As soon as my wife is in the car, I look at my mum and ask why she didn't call. Mum insists she doesn't have to call when she was already down the street. I told her that's not how this works. My daughter is not a show pony and I'm sick of her acting like she knows best while disrespecting my wife and I. Until she actually calls before she visits, we will not entertain her anymore. When we returned home, my mum was waiting in her car for us. I had a feeling that she'd do something like that. Wifey and I agreed to just ignore her and walk right past her when she tried to follow us. It was a little rude of me, but I shut the door in her face. She called my cell over and over again, waiting to be let inside, but I just let it ring. Needless to say, I've been flooded with messages from relatives saying that I acted childish and cruel. How dare I keep my daughter away from her grandmother? The only people on our side are my sister and in-laws. So tell me, am I the arsehole for ignoring my mum the way I did? And there is an edit/mini update which we'll cover after the comments, but absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. Your mum's the one who's deciding to cross boundaries that you put up. I mean, all she has to do is ring and make arrangements. That's all she has to do, and she's refusing to do it because she thinks she knows better. 100% not the arsehole. Keep up with those boundaries and keep putting her in her place. That's the only way she's going to learn. But Shark Buddy says not the arsehole. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm proud of you for sticking up to her and standing your ground. Nothing comes before your wife and child, and you made sure that is abundantly clear. Grandmother or not, she sounds like an absolute nightmare to deal with. Just because you're related doesn't give her the right to act like that. And Cricket says, not the arsehole. 1, she's not respecting your boundaries. 2, your examples of her baby talk are freaking weird. I'm all for having good relationships with family members, but there is only so much you can take. And D4Say says, not the arsehole. I think you did a great job in protecting your family and wife. You didn't yell, scream or blow up. Brilliant, really. You enforced your boundary, and depending on your mum's stubbornness, she will get the message or not. The fact that other family members don't support your action shows, and maybe it explains a bit, that your extended family does not understand boundaries or how to be respectful. So if everyone in your world thinks this is okay, you have to expect an uphill battle. In my opinion, it's worth a fight. You'll probably be told she only wanted to help, etc. But some parents are not willing to see their behaviour as totally disrespectful to their adult children. Well done. And Hannah Both Ways says not the arsehole. You established a boundary with your mum. She violated the boundary. You held firm and enforced the boundary. You were absolutely correct. And Grouchy Afternoon says not the arsehole. Tell her next time she pulls a stunt like that, you'll respond the same way. Edit to add, she was asking questions you had already told her the answers to. So you didn't start this, she completely ignored you and is now surprised you responded in kind. One more from Cute Mouse who says not the arsehole. You're an amazing partner for standing up for your spouse. I'm a mum to a 3-month sweet baby girl, and I detest people who tell me how to parent. And I really detest people who speak for my baby. That is hella annoying. I'd keep doing the same thing till your mum gets it, as in, she doesn't get baby time unless you respect your boundaries. Good luck. Being a new parent is a crazy ride. And the edit says, thanks for all the feedback so far. Post has only been up for an hour and I feel vindicated. Wifey and I already decided to put my mum and several other relatives on timeout, especially since a lot of them showed no interest in our lives till we had a baby. Tells us all we need to know about their priorities. Once my mother is in a calm headspace, I'm laying down the law with her. I want to be fair, but I have to be firmer with her too. Now, how would you handle the mum in this situation? How do you think OP dealt with it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to another story. And our next one is from NoRisk7532. Am I the arsehole if I don't use the AC when my nephew is over? I work as a teacher, so I have a lot of time with nothing to do during the summer. On account of this, I take care of my nephew sometimes during the summer for my brother. I don't mind it and I like spending time with a kid. Recently, my brother found out that I never use the AC at my house. If I feel I need to cool down, I just do what I have done since forever. I lay down on a cool towel and place a bag of ice on my neck. I've literally done this since I was a teen, and my brother knows this. So instead of turning on the AC, I just have my nephew do the same thing. I got a call from my brother that I shouldn't have to do that anymore, especially having my nephew do it. It works really well though, and I just don't like the AC. Am I the arsehole if I choose not to have the AC on when my nephew is over? Little bit of a short one there, and I'm going to go straight to the comments with it because there were some additional questions asked about it as well. From 7 That's a Nope, who says, how hot does it get in your house? How old is your nephew? And there was an ETA which said, you said in another comment that it gets into the hundreds outside, and you don't know how hot it gets inside. If you never run the AC, it very possibly gets well into the 90s or even hundreds inside. It could be even hotter inside than it is outside. If you want to lay on the floor with ice, that's your business, but to subject a 9-year-old to such misery when it's easily avoidable, you have AC and said you can afford to run it, is ridiculous and unhealthy. If you continue to refuse to turn on the AC, hopefully your brother will put the well-being of his son first and will have someone else watch him. Hopefully that is even an option for him since childcare is expensive. Your brother is right to be upset that you're making a decision to subject his son to easily avoidable suffering. You're the arsehole. And the Butch one says, you're the arsehole, a 9-year-old in 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius heat? That's just cruel, especially you can afford to run the AC. And Pamphlet Hamlet 21 says, you're the arsehole, it's ridiculous to think that what works for you will work for someone else. No fan? You said in another comment it's 90 to 100, it's absolutely a health risk for this kid. Could you at least have a room with AC? For my judgment, I've never had AC in my own place. Then I got a cat. Where I lived could be 100 to 110 in my apartment. I got an AC so he has options. It wasn't for me. That's what you do when you have a heart. And one more from Pomfori Twisty saying, you're the arsehole, your AC, your rules. But if the nephew and or the father has a problem with it and you absolutely refuse to run it, then you shouldn't have the nephew over anymore. If your brother found out about it, then I'm guessing that more than likely it's because the nephew told your brother something along the lines of, Uncle, OP's house gets really hot and he won't turn on the AC. So he just hands me an ice pack to put on my neck and tells me to lay on the hard tile floor. Your nephew isn't you, so the same tricks don't work for him. You're completely capable of running the AC so the kid doesn't overheat, you just don't want to. And as I said, it was a pretty short story there, but what are your thoughts on this one? Let me know in the comments below and we'll move on to another one. And our next story comes from Importance Even 8642. Am I the arsehole for blocking my friend with no explanation? For starters, I'm 24 female and my friend is 24 male. A little over a year ago, I became friends with Ben. Ben and I have become really close really fast. We would often hang out and go to do things. Fast forward to now, I'd say Ben was one of my better friends after we've all hung out. If I ever want to hang out, need help, etc., I always know he's the one that wants to hang out and vice versa. Around 3 months ago, Ben told me he was having a girl that he is friends with move in with him. She fell on hard times and really needed somewhere to stay. Over the course of the past 3 months, they've gotten really close and they are dating now. Since they started dating, I've been put on the back burner as his friend. I've been understanding about this because I know it's a new relationship and they want to spend as much time together as possible. Or so I thought. We hung out a few weeks ago and he told me that the reason why we haven't been hanging out as much is because she's really jealous of me. I asked him if there was anything I could do to make her more comfortable and he suggested that we hang out. I hung out with her twice and decided that I didn't really like her that much because we're not compatible as friends and have very different interests and life paths. She's also very quiet around me, and it's made it difficult to even speak with her. I discussed it with my friend that I felt moving forward, when we hung out it would be best to limit the time spent with the three of us together. After all, I was friends with Ben first, and I don't really like his new girlfriend particularly too much. Ben agreed and said that he saw my angle. However, the next 3 times that we hung out, he invited her without even asking me if she was welcome. I expressed to him that this made me uncomfortable and to please reach out and ask before inviting her to our outings. Yesterday is the straw that broke the camel's back. For me, I invited Ben to an outing that was supposed to be just him and I. When he showed up, he had his girlfriend with him after I had explicitly mentioned to him that I did not feel comfortable around her. It feels really forced when I have to be around her. I feel that he did not respect my boundaries that I clearly laid out. After they left, I decided to block him on everything with no explanation because I feel that I have explained to him multiple times how I feel about his girlfriend. Am I the arsehole for blocking him? I'm not sure. I kind of feel like in two minds about this one, like kind of in the middle, because I can't say you're the arsehole for being upset at him for bringing his girlfriend along when you specifically said you don't get along with him, and I think that's fine to not get along with him. You know, that's your feelings, and I think that's totally fine to say so. And if he says he was going to turn up without girlfriend, then he shouldn't have done so. If he had a problem with it, he should have approached you about it and talked about it. But where I do feel like you are the arsehole is just by blocking him and then, you know, just totally ghosting him. I think there's someone that was a good friend or still maybe is a good friend. You still should be able to sit down and explain the situation, you know, as friends. And if you both don't see eye to eye after that, that's actually fine, you know, but I think just going out there and saying, look, and ghosting them on all social media and everything and just having no closure to it would make you the arsehole. But that might be harsh as well. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say, I'll go with the initial question, am I the arsehole for blocking my friend with no explanation? That would make you the arsehole in this situation, but a very light one to me. A very soft arsehole. But I don't know, Kat says, I'm going to say a soft you're the arsehole. The reason why is because I hate it when people ghost. Ben might not know why you blocked him. It gives him closure and you. However, I know he isn't owed one. I don't know, I would tell him you feel like boundaries were crossed, and I think it's best when you all went separate ways. And Slinky Malinky 20 says, great name, yes, you're the arsehole for blocking him with no explanation. You're a friend, allegedly a good friend to him, but you're acting like you have feelings for him with this reaction. Yeah, I kind of felt like that as well. If he won't hang out without her and you don't like her, just accept that you won't be doing things with him while he's in this relationship. And if you don't want to be friends with him at all because he's prioritizing her over your friendship, you can tell him that or not, but the whole blocking thing seems super passive aggressive. And Ivana says, not the arsehole. Good that you blocked him. You won't have to deal with him when he wants to be friends again, after their relationship inevitably fails. And it will fail if she's so jealous and bans him from seeing his friend. They obviously don't know how to deal with their issues in a healthy way, but that is definitely not your problem, and you don't have to deal with that. Don't waste your time and energy on people who don't respect you. And one more from Philadelphia Lawyer 87 saying, not the arsehole. I feel like you gave friend fair warning, like, what, 3 or 4 iterations of the same song and dance? That's enough. Plus his girlfriend is always going to be there, and you don't like that, and your friend knows it, but brings her along anyway. So what more is there to talk about? Friend is the arsehole. He should either have done what he promised or said to OP that he hangs without girlfriend are a no-go. As it is though, he either lied or caved or whatever over and over again. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What is your verdict on this story and all of today's stories if you choose to share them? Never any pressure though, if you're just here for a chill and a story, I don't blame you. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being involved in today's stories, involved in the channel, involved in everything. It means the absolute world to me. Don't forget that you're bloody awesome for what you do, and I will see you cheeky so-and-so, in the next one. Don't know why I laugh at that every time. Much love, guys.